Ladies and gentlemen, episode 28 of season 2 of the Intermission podcast. In studio, my name's Greg. I'm joined by Mr. Nathan Brown. Nate, how we doing, bud?
We're doing good. Last podcast before Ottawa, so we're getting ready, and the boys are coming to town. So get ready to fire up.
Yeah, we'll be humming on all the cylinders. But I want to say that the pregame show today is brought to you by Manscaped. If you're growing out that bush, we've said it a million times. If you're dealing with a bush league, get that thing trimmed up and order the Lawnmower 4.0 by Manscaped.
It's a must. You get the big package too. Comes with a nose hair trimmer.
Yep.
Every single cream you could ever imagine.
Yep.
Crop reviver.
Yep.
Crop preserver.
Yep.
You know what we're talking about for crops. Use code TDI. Get 20% off, free shipping. Best deal going.
They've got new shampoo, new body wash as well. So they've got a new line out for all men, hygiene care. So make sure you're over onto Manscaped. Use the code TDI.
Anti-cut too.
Yeah.
Can't cut yourself.
No, for sure.
Really underrated.
It can be a bloody scene in there sometimes.
It can. Back when I used to use the straight blade.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Talk about moguls. But anyway, we're moving on.
Talk about moguls.
It was an eventful week, Nate. It's been an eventful week in sports, but we're gonna kind of start in the Oscar scene where that headlined most of the news for a few days. If anybody missed it, which I don't think you have, Chris Rock was dishing out some chirps, and he ended up chirping, or kind of had a joke directed at Will Smith's significant other or wife, I think. And anyway, Will Smith goes up on stage and slaps him across the face and then screams some vulgar language as he goes back to his seat. Nate, it was something like I've never seen before.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a joke at first. I'm sure a lot of people did, like when he walked up. Yeah. Then when he sits down and starts yelling, I'm like, holy sheep, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's unbelievable. But what is it? Well, like, who you side with on this?
Honestly, man, I'm going to side with Will Smith. It's a cold take. But, I'm an individual who, I like to, stand up for myself and honestly too, like, when you're dealing with family and you're dealing with medical issues, there's a fine line there. And I'm sure that, there were some rumors that Chris Rock, he didn't write the joke, and he was kind of he was uncertain about the diagnosis of her medical condition. But yeah, man, I thought it was an unacceptable joke. I thought it crossed the line, and I thought Will Smith did something. Obviously, you're not able to go and physically hurt someone and assault them, but I mean, I side with Will, man. Like that crossed the line for me, and I would probably be a little enraged.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be a little mad. I think I'm with Chris Rock on this one, though. I don't know. I just didn't think it was like, I understand it's like a medical thing. I don't know. If it was a roast, I guess it's a different thing too. It is kind of like it's an odd situation. You're at the Oscars
ceremony, you're receiving the best male actor, and then your wife's medical. He was obviously under the influence, and I'm a guy, man. Like I just. There's just like a zero tolerance when it comes to that stuff for me anyway. And obviously definitely could have handled it in a different, fashion.
For sure. I mean, like when Ricky Gervais hosted, he roasted everybody. Yeah. No one's going up and absolutely slapping him. But yeah. I also don't think he really had any like direct shots.
No, exactly.
So it's like, I don't know. It's whatever, man. Like
it is what it is. It certainly blew up on social media, blew up across the media stage. But I mean, we'll see what happens. I know Will Smith, he released an apology to Chris Rock. But I mean, in the back of my mind, it's like Chris Rock just started his tour. I guess the ticket sales are through the roof. Prices, it's like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, was this staged? Was there some media tactics behind this? Who knows?
I mean, there's always a shot for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, just as like you said, the ticket thing, like what they said, they sold more tickets in like one day than they did the last month for his tour. It's something outrageous like that.
There's something there. I don't know what it is, but Nate, we're moving into the sports scene, and Canada is heading to the World Cup. They qualified first in CONCACAF. I mean, just the turnaround in Canadian soccer, the women winning the Olympics, and now the Canadian men's going to the World Cup. I mean, I didn't think we'd ever get here, to be honest. I mean, It was kind of a write-off sport, and in the grand scheme of things, at the global level, it doesn't seem like Canada has much of a chance. But we'll see, man. I think they're going to be a nice underdog story. This is a team that's got a lot of talent, man, and if we make some noise over in Qatar, this country is going to be going nuts.
It's going to be wild. It's exciting, man. You've got the what was I going to say? Sorry, just forgetting again. Did you see the thing with like the pot system?
Yep.
Okay, so what they ended up losing to Panama, so they're in pot 4.
Pot 4.
So I know there's a lot of people too that are kind of like, I'd love to see them play Brazil and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, do you really want to play Brazil? Like,
I would want to see that. and play like England or play like one of the headline teams.
There's a good chance, but like there's also the outside chance because in pot 1 is Qatar.
Yeah,
there's an outside chance they get in that division, which would be huge. I mean,
sure.
I'm just like, I obviously want to see them play good teams, but I would also rather see them go on a run rather than just lose in the round robin.
For sure. But like what an underdog story that would be if you could upset a country like Brazil or a country like England.
Well, that's the other thing too.
I think I would get a little bit more up for a game against Brazil than I would for like a game against Switzerland or a game against Qatar. But I think we'll be watching it regardless. And I think, you're right, Nate. I mean, for the route to I think it's the Sweet 16. I think that's 16 teams advanced from the group stage. I think that's the easiest
I think it was 32.
Oh, is
they
it
had the
32?
round of 32, yeah.
Okay, so 32 teams move on. Yeah, I mean, their chances are much better in an easier group, but there's something compelling about them playing against one of the superpowers and upsetting them.
For sure. What a run, too. I mean, I remember talking about it like when it first started and, they were kind of getting traction. We were like, man, they might be able to sneak in like at that third or fourth spot and like actually get in. They won.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
They're doing this without their best player as well. I mean, Alphonso Davies is still dealing with complications from his COVID vaccine.
I don't know if you caught the Panama highlights too, but like they could have had probably a penalty kick pretty early in.
They lost 1-0. I didn't watch it last night.
No,
I'm a full-on bandwagon fan. Like if the game doesn't mean anything, I'm waiting for the World Cup.
Yeah, it was. I just wanted to see if they'd move up. I didn't really care if they went from pot 3 to pot 4.
Yeah.
I mean the draws tomorrow. Well, it'll be coming out today, I guess, once this released. Right. But that's gonna be. I can't wait to watch the draw. Yeah, that's gonna be sick.
No, absolutely. And I guess so. I mean, obviously we're thrilled that Canada's heading to the World Cup. Super exciting, but Nate, we're moving on, and we're heading to Ottawa, like you mentioned earlier. We're flying out Saturday. We're going to be in there for Senators Red Wings on Sunday and Senators Nashville Predators on the Thursday. We're going to be in Ottawa all week. So if you're a listener from Ottawa, hit us up. We're going to do a meetup at some point during the week. I'm thrilled. I'm so excited to get to meet up with our good friend of the show, Johnny Deacon, Drake Batherson. Riley Urquhart, Evan Holmes. I mean, there's going to be a bunch of good buddies of ours in Ottawa that we're going to be absolutely hanging out with.
Yeah, it's going to be nice to see. Also, just seems like there's a ton of people that are excited to meet up with the boys too.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a good one.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to conclude the pregame show of episode 28 of season 2, the Daily Intermission podcast. We're moving into quarter 1. And it's NBA talk, Nate.
Yes, sir.
And the Raptors have been making some noise lately in the Eastern Conference. They've I think they're in 5th place right now in the Eastern Conference. They're out there of the play-in games scenario. They've been hot. They beat the Celtics. Last night they beat the Minnesota Timberwolves fairly handily, but they beat the Celtics. They had the Celtics up into Toronto, and Jason Tatum, Robert Williams, and Jaylen Brown were all out for the Celtics. Ended up winning in overtime. But some speculation came out after that game that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are unvaccinated, so they were unable to enter the country to play that game. So with that law by the Canadian government, this could be very advantageous for Toronto in the first round of the playoffs.
For sure. You'd almost think the NBA is going to probably do something about that, though.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I know it's like law and stuff, but it's like, I don't know. It just seems that is so advantageous for
the competitive advantage. Yeah, you're right.
It's ridiculous.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens, man. I mean, with the pandemic kind of, fading out and obviously, there's no real mask mandates. I mean, there's no real COVID mandates anymore other than the fact that if you get it, you have to isolate like I had to do all last week. But yeah, you're right. I mean, for a team whatever team gets Toronto in the first round, I bet that there's going to be some players that won't be able to play, or there's going to be some players that get the vaccine before that series.
Yeah, potentially. I'm not sure. They're matched up right now against the 76ers.
Okay.
So no one off the top of my head rings unvaxxed on that team. But it's kind of hard to tell because
think about how much heat Kyrie Irving took.
Yeah,
and then it comes out. What's that? Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, what do you say, Jason Tatum
and Jaylen Brown?
Yeah,
the two superstars.
Did anybody know that though?
No.
I feel like no one knew that.
Well, because there was no Massachusetts law saying that you couldn't work without a vaccine. So, I mean, Kyrie Irving took so much heat. And, he's playing fantastic. We talked about last episode, but I feel kind of bad for Kyrie. Not often do, but, the fact that he had to take all of the heat for all of the NBA players who are unvaccinated.
Yeah, but, he had the balls, man. He stood out the whole time.
Yeah, and
didn't give in. So
it was a big. It was for the freedom and the power of choice. And honestly, you can pick sides, but man, I've really liked what Kyrie's done this season. I'm happy he can play at home now, and I've been verbal about this. I want to see the Nets go on a little run. There's something about the villain of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving that I really find attractive. But Nate, the Lakers have fallen out of the 10th seed. They're now in 11th in the Western Conference. It seems like LeBron and AD are banged up, and they won't be back anytime soon. So that team is now on the weight.
I mean,
on the shoulders of Russell.
At this point, what is there? 6 games left.
Yep.
So it's not looking good, especially if LeBron and them are not going to be back.
They might lose out.
Well, exactly. They could easily lose out, and then I mean, you may as well just pack it in if you're LeBron.
100%. You're not winning.
At this point.
You're not winning the championship this year.
You're not. Exactly.
Clear cut. So I mean, that's tough for the Lakers. This is a team that. But what are you going to do with Russell Westbrook in the offseason? I mean, their payroll is through the roof. I know that they're going to have to get rid of some players because, like Malik Monk, for example, he was a guy who came in from Charlotte. He's been kind of a bright spot in LA, but they won't be able to re-sign him now. So they're going to have to get rid of Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
He just hasn't fit.
I mean, I feel like that's pretty much inevitable.
Yeah.
The way it's gone. I mean, he's been pretty vocal about wanting to leave kind of too. I mean, it seems like everywhere, but...
Yeah, we'll see what happens there, man.
It's hard to say, but
it's just, and it's
just like where does he go from here?
Well, it's like a small
Toronto
market, like a Sacramento or a backed OKC, just a small market where he can do his thing.
Yeah,
put up 30 bricks a game, shoot 12 for 40 from the field, put up a triple double, and
I can almost call it now. You're going to see the Toronto come summer. You're going to see the Toronto 100%. Westbrook's coming
100%,
and. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
It's just such a fascinating case study when you've got LeBron James, who, by the way, had such a tremendous season for 37, 38, 36, however old he is. I mean, what a great year he had. And but a lot of that, a lot of the credit of his season, a lot of the accolades that he's received are kind of overshadowed by the lack of success that the Los Angeles Lakers have experienced. But Nate, the MVP race seems to be a two-horse race right now. Nikola Jokic from Denver and Joel Embiid from Philadelphia. I'm really unsure of where the voters are going to go on this. That's something I find troublesome as well, Nate, is to kind of put yourself in the seat and the mind of a voter.
But the voting system, I feel like, is so
broken,
kind of broken.
Yeah,
but I'm not really I just don't know how it's mostly beat writers, right? They get a lot of votes
typically. Yeah,
so it's I just always think back to when John Marino on the Penguins got a bunch of votes for the Norris, and it was all from a Penguins guy. Calder, yeah, it could have been. It could have been both. Honestly, he was pretty high on the guy, but and then I mean that guy's completely fallen off.
Yeah,
so it's
anyway, it'll be interesting to see. I think Joel Embiid's going to get it. Jokic got it last year, but I guess I think about Denver and they're not that deep. I mean, you've had Jamal Murray miss the entire year. You've had Michael Porter Jr. banged up most of the season. I mean, Nikola Jokic is just a walking triple-double. He's just so gifted offensively and defensively. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, I think it's the two big men going head-to-head here for the MVP, so we'll see who ends up getting it.
I have a quick question for you, too. So I'm just looking at pulled the standings up when I was looking at them earlier, and I was just Golden State's they haven't clinched yet, but they're pretty much... Obviously, they're going to make it.
Yep.
So they're sitting in 4.
Yep. So
obviously, they play the 5 seed. So I'm just looking Denver or Utah. Which one would you prefer? Because, I mean, that's not a walk of a first rounder for them.
No, it's not. I'd probably rather Utah, to be honest, just because Jokic is a mismatch. You don't have James Wiseman. You don't really have a big man on Golden State who can handle that animal. Obviously, Rudy Gobert is similar. You can dominate in the paint, but...
And Vince COVID, too.
Yeah, that's right. So. Steph Curry's injured right now. He's dealing with a foot injury, and Klay Thompson hasn't looked that good. Injured Wiggins went from a starting all-star to absolutely falling off the map. So Golden State's interesting. We'll see what happens with them. But, I mean, the more and more I look at the Western Conference, and I think it's going to be Phoenix. That's the team to beat. Yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty good. Still hoping for that Suns-Nets matchup. Yeah, that'd be electric. So we got 6 games remaining, like Nate said. So, I mean, the playoffs are going to be rounding into form. Next time, about just over a week away, when we return to studio, we'll be talking basketball. And then on April 18th, we've got Scoop B Robinson coming on, Brandon Scoop B, to talk NBA playoffs, kind of recap the season. And we'll chat basketball with Scoop B. But that's going to conclude quarter 1 NBA talk. We're moving into quarter 2, and we're talking NHL, Nate. Yeah. So obviously some sad news. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of Eugene Melnyk, owner of the Ottawa Senators, who passed away this week. Kind of shocking news for me, Nate. I didn't. I was not aware either. I didn't know that Eugene Melnyk was dealing with some health issues. I was listening to Elliot Friedman this week talk that a lot of the owners and a lot of the NHL knew for 2-3 weeks now that
Okay.
he was not in good shape, and they did a good job of kind of keeping that on the down low. But obviously, kind of a polarizing figure. He hasn't been in the media, Nate, since like 2018, 2017.
Yeah.
He was a guy who spoke his mind, and I think it was 20 years ago to today that the Ottawa Senators were facing bankruptcy, and he ended up buying the team. And obviously, he's just. There's definitely, obviously, such sad news, but he's going to go down as there's going to be some mixed reviews for sure on how he handled his ownership in Ottawa, Nate.
For sure. I mean, he brought the team back there too, which is nice. I mean, they had that Ottawa team in like the early 1900s, Senators, and then they were gone forever. But yeah, I mean, obviously, thoughts and prayers to the guy. It's a shame.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But
I suck at talking about that stuff.
Yeah, no,
so
absolutely.
bad. Like I just don't want to.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously his 2 daughters now, they're grieving and they'll decide. I think that the team is now in their hands, so we'll see what happens. But Pierre Dorion, he's a guy that's got his hands full this offseason. I mean, we look at Ottawa and the current state of Ottawa. I mean, you've got a lot of great pieces. I mean, you got Drake Batherson, you got Brady Tkachuk, Josh Norris, Timmy Stützle.
Stutzel's really coming alive
Alex
too.
Formanton has looked good at, very good at points this season. So you got Shane Pinto. Obviously, he's missed the majority of the season, but he's going to be back in the mix. You got a lot of young prospects too that should be poised to get in the lineup next year. So, Nate, what do you think moving forward? I mean, the Atlantic Division, it doesn't seem like it's going to be getting any weaker, but what do the Senators got to do this offseason?
Yeah, it's a good question. I feel like for the most part, it's like they kind of got to kill this, like kind of the dead weight, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? They bring in a lot of guys that are just like kind of waiver dudes that they bring in, and they kind of play them a lot.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know. Jake Sanderson's going to be coming in.
Phenomenal.
That's going to be huge.
Yep.
I mean, that decor is...
You hope Bernard Docker takes a nice step next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Hamanek's going to be in the mix.
That's
he
right.
seems like a decent 5'6" guy to have.
Yep, for sure.
I think Nick Holden signed for another year, so maybe a Holden Hamanek as your bottom pair, and then you've got the Sanderson, Shabbat, Zub, Bernard Docker, and then someone else. But
Brandstrom. Did you mention Brandstrom?
Brandstrom as well. So there's your 6.
I mean, that's not going to work out in the future. They're obviously going to have to lose a few guys just for salary purposes. But even when you look at their forwards, like maybe you grab a center, like a solid centerman.
Yeah, I think so. Top 6 centerman.
Yeah, I would think. Like even if you can somehow get a number 1, like Claude Giroux.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's obviously a little like, I don't know if it would make sense just with the age, He's like, what, like 32, 33? Might even be older than that, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
But,
I mean, it's amazing when you watch that top line play. I mean, Drake is just such an amazing setup, man. Brady does so much great things down low. He's just such a pure power forward.
Yep.
Josh Norris has got a great shot. He can put so that could be a stable first line moving forward. And then you got Timmy Stützle, obviously. He's been playing at the center position as well. With Alex Formanton, Connor Brown. I mean, that seems like a decent top 6. I think you did a bit more top end talent.
I do too. I think if you could put Connor Brown down on the third line, like he'd be he's got to be one of the best third liners in the league.
Yep, 100%.
He just brings it. I mean, he's a 20-goal guy.
Yep.
You don't get that from a third liner very often. So
no, for sure. Nate, over into the Western Conference, the Minnesota Wild, they've won 7 straight games. They've been on an absolute heater. This is a team that could be a dark horse team. I mean, we talked about it with Pete Blackburn. They've got that sandpaper brand of hockey that's tough to play against. They can certainly, transfer that game into the playoffs and look pretty good. Their center depth is something that's worrying me, Nate.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what we were talking about the other day was it's Eriksson Ek, Ryan Hartman, and
Freddie
Gaudreau.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like Hartman and Gaudreau would be great 3-4.
But those are your 1-2.
Yeah, which kind of blows my mind why Eriksson Ek's not 1.
On the third line, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the I mean, I don't catch a whole lot of Minnesota games, so I couldn't really tell you if there's like a chemistry thing going there. And I just like at this time of year too, with the season winding down, I always take a look and just see like, say Minnesota gets in, they're second in the Central right now. They end up against St. Louis. Like, who are you taking in that series? Dark horse or not?
It's going to be a battle for sure. I mean, I'll lean St. Louis, but I mean, it's going to be a good series.
Yeah, I think it would be good. I just think St. Louis would come out on top every time.
Who's got the best save percentage and goals against average when a game is tied in the NHL this season?
This season?
Yeah.
Oh, when a game is tied. I'm assuming it's going to be one of the 2 teams we're talking about currently.
Yeah.
Give me Husso.
No, Marc-Andre Fleury.
Okay.
Yeah.
50-50 and I blew it.
So Marc-Andre Fleury, and the reason I bring up that stat, Nate, is because we think about playoff hockey, it's typically pretty close.
Yes.
I mean, those zeros, when the game is 0-0 or the game's 3-3, the best goaltender in the NHL this season has been Marc-Andre Fleury. I think that just gives them, that bolsters their goaltending a lot. You know, I do think that they've got a nice brand of hockey. That would be a bloodbath of a series.
It would be, for sure. And I mean, obviously, Fleury's a hell of an upgrade over Talbot.
And home ice, too. I mean, let's not
It's
forget.
a zoo.
Minnesota is a hockey town. Like,
Yes.
these people love their hockey, and if they get home ice advantage over the St. Louis Blues, yeah, absolutely. And St. Louis Blues, I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, it's
man.
like when we were talking to Pete, I was like, something about St. Louis just doesn't really like stick out to me.
Yeah.
So it'd be a cool series. I mean, I think either one gets pumped by Colorado in the next one, but
For sure.
I mean, you win a round, see what happens.
Nate, there was a few fights this week. Nathan McKinnon and Matt Dumba fought, and McKinnon's dealing with an upper body injury from it. Tom Wilson and Brent, was it Brendan Smith on Carolina? They were beaking back and forth. But what is your stance on fights in hockey? We haven't really talked about it. Do you like it in the game? Do you know? I know as a player when I was playing, it definitely gives you a boost. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, when there's a fight on the ice, it does something to the bench, especially if your guy wins. It does give you a boost. I think it'll always be in the game just due to the fact of how competitive hockey is and just the way it's played. But what's your stance on fighting, Nate?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it would be hard to remove.
Yeah.
You know, it's a tough thing to just be like, one day it's like, well, we're not fighting anymore. It's like, well, man, you get a scrum after what, every 1 in 3 whistles?
Yeah.
Like, obviously that number is nowhere near accurate, but I mean, even if you have a scrum, like sometimes stuff happens too where you just kind of got to do it.
Oh man.
You know, 100%. Somebody gets drilled, there's a greasy,
Your goalie
like
gets run?
there's too much contact in the sport.
Yep.
For you to not be able to, or else it's just going to end up, if you don't have that outlet to fight, it's just going to turn into, you know, some greasy slashes, some dirtier hits, you know? So it's,
But even if they took fighting away, like you're not allowed to fight, there's still going to be fights. They'll take the suspensions because it's just, like you said, that's just the way the game's played. And there's things that happen that warrant a fight.
exactly.
But let's think back into history. Do you have some fights that stand out to you that you're like, those are my favorite fights of all time?
Oh man. Yeah. They're all bench ones, just bench brawls. I remember watching Buffalo and Ottawa. They had this ridiculous rivalry in like 06 and 07 because they played a couple times in the playoffs. They had an entire bench brawl. You had Emery going at the Pete Peters. You had the whole bench going. Like Buffalo sent out the fourth line. I can't remember some of the guys then, but they were some absolute heavyweights. And then, of course, actually, I think it was just the 20-year anniversary, maybe 25-year anniversary of the Detroit-Colorado bloodbath.
Okay.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
Holy smokes, blood all over the ice.
Who was it a couple years ago, Nate?
Wild.
Right off the puck drop. Full line brawl. I think it was the
Washington Rangers.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
because that's when Tom Wilson was ragdolling. That was just last year.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Ragdoll and Panarin, and then they were all going nuts. And
Yeah,
then it was remember the entire boxes were filled, and then I think we put a post on our Instagram actually of the box score. It was like a second in. It was just like this guy. That was a wild one.
My two favorite fights are PJ Stock, and he was fighting a guy on Washington.
Is that the straight haymaker show?
Yeah,
okay.
Just trading haymakers, and then Chara versus McCabe.
Charver? I haven't seen that one. I don't think.
It's a ragdolling. Like, there's not even too many great punches, but he's swinging him around like an absolute ragdoll. But like, we think about who are like the top end fighters in the league right now. Obviously Ryan Reeves and Tom Wilson. I would think Zach McEwen. He's been fighting McDermott on Colorado.
I thought you were gonna say McDermott on Toronto.
No,
yeah, he goes. Him and Justin
Vancouver
Hall.
now. He's Vancouver now.
Oh, is he? Yeah, that's right.
Gosh.
Justin Hall. He's
There's a long list of leaps we can put here.
Justin Hall, man. Every night I'm not going to completely rinse the guy, but like every night I watch and I'm just like, dude, just hammer a dude. You're huge.
I know. Nick Delorier for
that guy can throw.
Yeah, he throws.
He can throw. But
they're still in the game, man. They're still. You'll find a guy on a team who doesn't mind going Milan Lucic.
Well, exactly. Yeah, Lucic. Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is too about like Wilson, it's like he's never not going to fight. And I mean, this is a guy who scores. I mean, he's got 21 goals this year.
Yeah.
You know, he's gonna be swinging. So
he's a new age fighter. Like,
100%.
Can play the game at a really high level, can put up points, can play in your top 6, but also is not afraid to say, "How are you?"
Which is I mean, that's a rare breed.
For sure.
That's what that just brings up something too. There was somebody who was talking about it was Marchand after, and we'll get into that Boston thing that happened too, but it was something Marchand did, and then someone online, they were saying like, this is one guy I would never want on my team ever. And it's like, dude, that is such the
top 5 left winger in the league.
Garbage statement I've ever heard in my life. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, he's unreal, and it's like, people say that about players too, and it's like as soon as you got him, you would be so over the moon, dude. It's just like Tom Wilson. Like if I pictured Tom Wilson in Toronto,
but I think a lot of the people are casual fans. Like a lot of the time when they hear about Wilson or they hear about Marchand, it's the
negative.
2 games, it's the 2 situations in the 82 game season where they've done something greasy or they've done something that's a little over the top and it gets suspended. And it's like these guys are such grease balls. It's like, well, did you watch the other 78 games where they were absolutely lighting the lamp and putting in shift after shift of just unbelievable hockey?
Exactly. And like I was just saying before that, like I try to picture Tom Wilson playing in Toronto. Like this guy would be literally, they'd probably put a statue up. Like think of how,
dude, this is the guy that we were saying should have been on Team Canada.
I know 100%, but like think of like Ty Domi. Like this guy is an absolute legend. All he did was scrap.
They need a guy like that, man. They need a guy like a Wendell Clark or Ty Domi.
They need something,
or just a guy who's got some grip. But yeah, Nate, we'll bring up Taylor Hall. I mean, the Leafs fans were screaming for a suspension. The Leafs bring in this big tough Ilya Labushkin, and Taylor Hall swipes at him with his hand open. Everyone's comparing it to the Todd Bertuzzi, which is the most obscene comparison. It is outrageous that people think that there was any comparison. He swiped him with his hand, which, okay, Bertuzzi might have done, but Bertuzzi drove Steve Moore's neck into the ice and broke his neck. But Labushkin lays on the ice, leaves the game, is out long term. I couldn't believe it, but
I think it was more the dog pile that busted up. Like Steve, that was the worst thing on Steve Moore. But I mean, still, the punches are, they're not even close to comparison. I mean, maybe the style of how Hall went at him, but like, there wasn't a whole lot of contact. I honestly thought, if anything, like, Labushkin could have got something. Like, I know Taylor Hall kind of turned, but like he kind of threw him into the boards from behind.
Yep.
So it's like, I don't know, man. It was just, I knew it was going to be a lose-lose because it was going to be Boston versus Toronto fans, and it was going to be an absolute meltdown.
It was one of those hits that we talk about that kind of warrants, it's like, I didn't like that. He's one of our better players. It's like, well, you're probably going to have to answer to that. And Labushkin lays on the ice and leaves the game because he didn't want to answer the bell.
Yeah,
all right, Nate.
Anyway.
We're moving on to the halftime show, episode 28, season 2 of the Intermission podcast. So what we're doing here today is we're going to do what jersey number do they wear?
Yeah, we're bringing it back.
This is going to be a bloodbath.
This is going to be, how greasy did you get with mine?
Not greasy at all.
Okay, awesome.
How greasy did you get with mine?
Not greasy at all. I'm real fair effort here. But as we talked about the last time.
I think you're going to go 3 for 3 to start off mine, to be honest.
Okay. I think you could as well.
All right, Nate.
Yeah.
Charlie McAvoy.
73.
Bang.
Chris Letang.
58.
Okay, we are hot, folks. We're hot.
Michael Bunting.
Michael Bunting's 58.
Boom.
Alfonso Davies. Kind of tough.
I don't.
On Canada.
On team 9?
Close, 19.
Okay.
Yeah, you had the 9.
Dylan Cousins.
Dylan Cousins. Geez. 22?
24.
Dust. Danny Green.
Ooh, Danny Green.
It's kind of like one of those like mid-rangers where you're like, I definitely know it.
It bounces around so much. It's 20-something, I think. It's 20... give me 23.
14.
Okay.
That is, it's a bouncer.
Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins is 23?
22.
Dude, never mind. I'm not going to say what I said the last time. Rudy Gay.
Gosh. Rudy Gay. Give me...
single digits. I'll give you that.
Oh, gee. Give me 8.
Bang. How are ya?
Derek Rose. Single digits.
Derek Rose, single digits. I want to say 2.
4.
Jeez. Pine Tar Chapman.
29.
54.
Robinson Cano.
Oh, Robinson Cano. A little bit of a throwback. He's in the 20s.
Yep.
I think he's 20. No, that was Posada. Is he not in the 20s?
24, he is.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway. Okay, hold on. I just moved the screen. Jacob deGrom. The pitchers are tough. You don't see the number that often, man.
I'm going 25.
48.
Mookie Betts.
Oh, Mookie. 54?
50.
Oh. Matt Chapman.
Is he 22?
Oh, 26. You knew it, though.
Noah Syndergaard.
Noah Syndergaard. He's 54.
34.
Well, all right. I'm just going 54 the rest of the way out. Paul George.
13.
Yep. Nice.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry. Man, you know what's crazy? I want to say 58, but I don't think that's right, or is it?
No. 22.
Oh, shoot. Kevin Lankinen.
Is he a goaltender?
Yeah, for Chicago.
Give me 31.
32. But hey, that's a hell of a default guess on a goalie.
TJ Watt.
TJ Watt is he's not 99. No, that's JJ.
Brother. Yeah.
TJ is he's 66.
No, 90. You were close. Is that it?
No, Cam Fowler, last one.
Cam Fowler. Is he 24?
4.
Mother.
Quick cutoff for the TikTokers. Yeah. Motherfucker.
Holy.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
in all my years,
that's so hard.
It's so hard.
It's so hard. And the funny thing is, we were talking about it pre-episode 2, just as before we end the halftime show. When you watch a game, you know exactly who the player is when you're watching it, and you could probably almost identify them by number. But when you're on the spot, it's a little bit challenging. But I mean, let us know, I guess, in the comments if you beat us.
I mean, there's a good chance. I feel like it would be easier not on the spot too when you're like kind of watching. Yeah. I feel like I'm so much more dialed in when I watch stuff, and I'm guessing along with it. But.
For sure. All right, Nate, we're moving into quarter 3, episode 28 of season 2 of the Intermission podcast. We're talking MLB, and we're starting with the Blue Jays.
Yes, we are.
Have absolutely juiced up and look like a fire wagon this year. But their pitching coach, he's a well-renowned pitching coach, Pete Walker, arrested for a DUI this week.
Yeah.
Certainly could have been a contender for the dog water of the week. I guess he had 4 beers. He came out to the media and said, I had 4 beers and thought I could go. But
probably not
a good idea.
Want to say. You probably, even if you had 4, well, you know what? Now that I'm thinking that, so I was going to say, if you had 4, you probably just say, I had 2. Yeah. He probably had 8. Yeah. Probably put it down to 4 is my guess.
Obviously, it's not a laughing matter. Obviously,
no, not at all.
We don't, obviously, we don't support anything.
I genuinely think that's one of the worst things you can do.
100%.
It's just so dumb because and so unnecessary.
There's so many options
There's
for you.
So many options, especially in Toronto, man. You've got Uber, you got Lyft, you got just a straight up cab that's guaranteed waiting outside anywhere.
Would have been in Dunedin, Florida, but you're the same thing.
That's right. It is Grapefruit League. Yeah. I mean, even more options.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no excuse here.
No, there's not at all. But I mean, you're right, and it's just such an obscene thing to do. There's no excuse. There's zero excuse for it, and you see it all the time. And obviously Pete Walker, smart in your act up, but there's been no penalties from the team. He's a heck of a coach. He's done wonders with a lot of the young pitchers on the Blue Jays. But anyway, staying in the Toronto Blue Jays realm, Nate, they announced a $200 million renovation to the Rogers Center.
Yeah.
What would you do to that place?
Oh, man, it's tough. I definitely you'd want to just kind of modernize it a bit.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in, a while.
Yeah, it was 2019. And
yeah.
It's just...
That roof is a joke. As we talked about on the...
It's such a great location, though.
It is. It is
right downtown.
That's the thing about the Toronto sports stadiums, man. Even BMO.
Yeah.
What a spot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I feel like with $200 million... At least on the surface level, you could do a fair bit to make that place at least look a little better.
For sure. I'm thinking to me that outfield just looks dust. If you get some seating down lower, I don't know. The lower bowl, I don't.
Well, you were talking about the other day, it's like a rock field as soon as it gets past the infield.
It's turf.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Turf was such a great innovation, I think, but grass is so much more friendly and so much more natural to play on. I'm such an advocate for grass fields and there's so much more give, and in today's day and age, with the amount of employees you have in professional sports stadiums, get rid of the turf.
For sure. And you know what's another thing I would do if I worked grounds crew there, I'd be pushing so hard on just something, be like, can we get something for an auto tarp? Because you ever see those guys just get out there grinding, man, when it comes to it's time to get the tarp down. They're just hucking in the, it's like, what are we putting the tarp down for? We literally have a roof that takes 14 minutes to close. It's like...
honestly, hats off to them. In a matter of a few minutes, they got the field covered. But you're right. There's 30 people absolutely hustling. I gotta watch a compilation of people wiping out and absolutely eating it. And
we also got to reach out to the MLB at some point, and when we're at a game, and we got to get on the field for one of those 7th inning stretch races.
Yeah,
I want that's a bucket list for me, man. I gotta get on there and
going against Freeze or whatever.
Yeah, whatever they are,
for sure.
I saw another quick thing too. I saw a lot of posts going around about they want to bring back some Blue Jays jerseys from the past. They had the black one. Oh, and then they had
how we feel about the black jerseys here in the Daily Intermission.
For sure. And you know what? I remember thinking when that thing was at its end, I was like, that thing is absolutely dust. But
then you know who comes to mind? Vernon Wells.
Yeah. Big
Vernon
time.
Wells.
Yeah, and
Carlos Delgado.
Carlos Delgado, Roy Halladay, R.I.P.
Roy Halladay. Gosh, those are some throwback names, man.
That was those were some tough squads.
Oh,
They were battling every year, man. It was. I remember just tuning in for some
Aaron
games.
Hill.
Like Aaron Hill.
Aaron Hill.
Oh man, I remember just like back then. It was like when the NLL was on big time. I used to crush a ton of Toronto Rock games.
Yep.
And I'd be like, I'm probably watching the Rock game
Yeah,
over the Jays because they were just so abysmal.
Doyle.
Yeah, Chris Doyle. 54 bingos. How are you?
But Nate, the MLB umps announced this week that they want pitchers to be checked more for the sticky stuff. I guess they're not appreciating the amount of sticky stuff that's being checked for early on in the season.
I don't know what especially with all the urgency to like speed the game up.
Yes.
They want to check more. Like last year was an absolute clown act. You had Max Scherzer pulling his pants down, going off the field. You had everybody like, it seemed like it was almost the year too. I mean, just with like the kind of the scare of it, maybe they're just trying to get that into pitchers' heads for the season coming up. But it's like, didn't even seem like that many people were using it last year. Besides Pine Tar Chap.
He's a staple.
He's
the guy you got to check out every game, every inning.
You know what's funny about him? We started that up. Yeah. I don't even know if he's ever even been caught.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he has.
I don't think he has.
But I mean, with that much heat, you have to think.
Well, dude, he absolutely. That was another thing too. Watching the tail end of last year in the Yankees, like that big AL East push, was that guy just had no control over the ball at the end of the year. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
He is just chucking to chuck.
But I mean, it's so annoying. Like you said, 17 minutes of action in an MLB game. Yeah. 17 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. Remember when we posted that as like a fact thing, and everybody's like, "No, it's not."
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, it's play."
Well, I just read it on Wikipedia, buddy.
Yeah, it's like, so if you think you can edit Wikipedia, then you tell me something I don't already know, bud.
Oh man, it's, Nate, moving down into the Los Angeles Dodgers territory. Obviously, they're going to be absolute wagon. But Dave Roberts, their manager, came in on a talk show this week in Los Angeles and said, "We are winning the 2022-2023 World Series. Lock it in."
Yeah, I mean, that's get the tattoo and we'll chat, buddy.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
He guaranteed it.
Yeah. I mean,
what do you think about that? People guaranteeing things.
So it's like kind of like a weird thing for me because it's like, you know, it seems to get thrown out fairly often.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, and you think back to some of the ones that people have, you know, they say it and it happens. Like Mark Messier, legendary call.
Oh,
but you've got people who say it all the time and like you don't really think anything of it, you know?
Oh, for sure.
And then it's like, so if it doesn't happen, it's going to be all there is there's going to be a meme for like when they get eliminated.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's about all it is. I mean, why not throw it out? It looks
tattoos,
sick if you call it.
We're doing a top 5 tattoos of all time too soon.
Yeah, for sure.
People like lighting up the tattoos and then them just not coming through with it.
Well, you see some crazy ones too, man. It's like New York Jets, like 2022 Super Bowl
it's like, buddy,
champions.
have you
It's like,
seen
dude,
your quarterback,
like,
Zach Wilson?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly.
He's dust.
Like I'm better than him. Straight up better than Zach Wilson.
Oh, man. But we got opening day at the end of next week, Nate.
Yep.
MLB. I mean, you think about the end of next week. I mean, we're going to be in the home stretch for the NBA and NHL. We're going to move into quarter 4 because I can't not talk about it.
I was just going to do a quick, when you were
Dan.
saying about opening day, did you see I caught a little bit of the Grapefruit League last night.
Okay.
That was the Jays and the Yanks.
Yeah.
First off, Josh Donaldson's out there looking like he's playing with a blindfold on.
Did you see him get gunned out at second?
Well, not even gunned. Yeah, like he was like...
Yogging.
It was so weird, man.
He jogged at first, and then like, you know when they make the turn at first, obviously you're going to pick up a gear. He didn't turn it on.
Dude, he was like... And then the slide in there was like... I was like,
2 feet short.
Like, dude, the bases are bigger now, you know.
Yeah.
You can lay out. But it was an interesting what the Jays did. What was it? Ryu and who's the other big guy? Big pitcher.
Noah Barrios, Gosman. No. Oh yeah, they played an interesting game. Kevin Gosman.
Yes. So they sat the two of them. They're like, so the Yankees. And then I was watching the highlights today this morning. They're like, so the prying eyes of the Yankees, and I was like, what? I was like, they're gonna be able to see
exactly. Yeah.
Like.
But yeah, they'll have all their notes on them. But yeah, you're right. So they had their own inter-squad game with Ryu and Gosman and started, I forget who.
I am so like, there's so many pitchers. Like I can't even like, let alone guess the number.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Opening day next week.
Yep. Let's get going.
We're moving to PGA Tour NCAA basketball.
Yep.
I'm beside myself. Tiger Woods has flown into Augusta, Georgia, and he's playing the Masters course this week. He's playing Augusta National, and he hasn't made a decision yet. That decision will come out later on this week. But if Tiger Woods plays the Masters, I was talking about it to you, Nate. I mean, there's just nothing like it.
Yeah, I mean, the hype's already built, and he hasn't even confirmed.
Yep.
It's kind of messed up. I kind of feel for some guys. It's
just the reality of golf, and I mean, it's something that's hasn't been replicated in any sport ever. I mean, as soon as Tiger Woods mentions he's going to play in a tournament, you've got to times everything by 3 concessions. You've got to times like the venue, you've camera crews, and the cameras never leave him. You never miss a Tiger hole.
Yep.
It's so exciting. It's so good for the game of golf, and you have to cherish all of these moments because you have to think. I mean, his career's winding down with all the injuries, but man, this is going to be if he could come back and win this tournament after everything he's been through.
I mean, it almost wouldn't surprise you.
No.
You know, like he comes in and just like, what, he hasn't played. When's the last legitimate tournament?
I think it's been 17 months.
Yeah, man, I think that's going to be pretty tough.
He hasn't hit a tournament shot in 17 months.
I don't know.
Well, you think, we talk about it all the time. There's so much top tier talent right now, but that guy, man, he's a different animal on the golf course. The galleries too, it's so obnoxious, man. Like when you're playing with Tiger Woods, like good luck, because the galleries are so for Tiger, and it's like 75% of the golf course is following Tiger, and the crowd's moving around. It's outrageous. But I mean, with the Masters next week, I should say this week's the Valero Texas Open. You got Rory, DeChambeau, Spieth. You got some big names playing, gearing up for next week's Masters. But I mean, it's all Masters, Nate. It's going to be so exciting.
It's going to be sick. I'm very, very pumped. I'm trying to pull up I'm looking here. I can't find McIlroy even. Okay, here we go. Yeah, okay, he's even.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, how we doing?
Yeah.
You know.
He'll probably be looking to make the cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My other bet in Finau is also even.
Okay.
And Bryson.
Minus?
He's 1 over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's still shaking the rust off as
chipped in
well.
out of the bunker earlier too, right?
We do need to talk about, did he?
I thought.
Okay.
Maybe it could have been an old clip.
I
can't keep track.
We got to talk about Scotty Scheffler because this guy was on the Korn Ferry Tour in 2019. In the last 5 weeks, he's won 3 events. The Waste Management Open, the Arnold Palmer Invitational, and the World Golf Championship Match Play. 3 huge events. He's now the #1 ranked player in the world.
Crazy.
What?
I know.
Scotty Scheffler out of nowhere, man.
It is.
I was getting emotional, man. I was crying watching his wife run out, and his dad hugged him and said, like, I'm so proud of you, of the man you are, and you know, you're great at golf and everything, but I'm proud of the man you are. And he was just full out in tears. This guy rocks Tiger Woods logos on his shoes, Tiger Woods logos on his irons. Like, he's a full-on Tiger guy, and like,
beauty.
Such a weapon, man. And he's a guy, man. You know, I'll be putting a little bit out. I'll be sprinkling the outright. Do you want to take a 12-pack each at the Masters?
What?
12-pack of bets?
Oh. Yeah, I'm up for anything.
Okay.
I gamble like an absolute degenerate.
Are we thinking 12
I'll
each?
do a 2-4.
Okay. Well, we might be going 24 golfers each. That could be tough. I've been
definitely going in the Millie Maker.
Oh my goodness, yeah, 100%.
I can tell you my lineup.
Okay.
Cam Smith.
Okay.
Sung Jae. No.
Yeah.
I'd have to take a good look at that. That's going to be tough.
Oh yeah,
Millie.
because you got to go ownership. Oh man,
yeah,
but
the ownership would be.
No, okay. Well, listen, we're beside ourselves. The next episode we record, we're probably gonna have to wait for a Tuesday episode because we're gonna want to talk about the Masters.
Yeah, that's almost like some Super Bowl vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to hold it off. Yeah, you can't be. We can't be recording during the final round of the Masters like a couple of absolute barbarians,
no
dude.
Shot.
Like holy smokes.
Yeah, it's gonna be through the roof. All right, Nate, we're gonna move into the NCAA to finish off Q4 here.
Yep.
We got Duke UNC, the Battle of North Carolina. I mean, what a rivalry for Coach K's final run. And then we got Villanova and Kansas.
Yep. Villanova and Kansas.
And you got Villanova.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the top 11% of brackets. 2 teams still in the Final Four.
I just am confirming. Is that any good?
It's pretty decent.
Yeah.
I kind of wish too. I was gonna do you remember we were talking beforehand? I was gonna make Duke take a run.
Yeah.
And I kind of folded up on him at Michigan State. I had him out early, and I kind of wish I just stuck with my gut, and I kind of wish I listened to some of the people in our TikTok live as well.
Yeah,
they were really pushing on UNC. They were, they had Duke going too, and I wish I would have followed along. I'm too big on the damn Boilermakers.
Yeah, Purdue, I know
damn
for sure.
Boilermakers.
Well, I apologize about that.
Yeah, it's no worries.
I should turn my phone off. That was loud.
It was loud.
But Nate, that'll conclude Q4. We're excited, obviously, I should say, about the Final Four, and I think I'm excited for the UNC Duke game. You saw Eric Church cancel the concert.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But
I respect it. Sold out concert. He says, nah.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good.
But that'll conclude Q4 of episode 28, season 2 of the Intermission. Nate, let's fire into the fire wagon and dog water of the week.
Start us off.
All right, man. My fire wagon of the week. goes to a man of Tiger Woods. And I know he hasn't announced that he's playing yet, but just the fact that he's there trying to play means that we're going to have a summer full of Tiger Woods. Maybe not full, but I would think he's going to play 5-6 events.
Yep.
Tiger Woods is back. That guy, the three-legged monster, is going to be back in the mix. Tiger Woods, my fire wagon of the week.
I'm going to go with Scotty Scheffler.
Oh.
I mean, I think that's kind of fair.
Sure.
As you kind of broke the entire thing down less than 35 seconds ago.
Yep.
But I mean, this guy's got 3 wins in his last 5.
Yep.
Number 1 in the world. How long was John Rahm
Number one?
number 1?
Gosh, good question. He took it over from Justin Thomas. I would say over a year.
Yeah, I was going to say it seemed like it was a good run.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a big milestone.
It's
obviously,
crazy. It's crazy, Nate, how the golfers kind of like for a long time there, John Rahm was unstoppable. Like he was,
Yep.
and then he's kind of fallen off, and now it's Scotty Scheffler, and they just take turns like dominating.
You love the parity.
Yes,
right
100%.
now. I mean, it's definitely a lot better for the sport than like obviously when Tiger was just dominating was absolutely sick. But it's just like every week. Like imagine doing. Like daily fantasy back then.
Oh man.
It's like what Tiger Woods must have came in at 14-5, 99% owned, and you had to take him.
He went 7 years of not missing a cut.
Man, the odds would have been just there must have been someone too, like some big Tiger hater.
Yeah.
That must have bet
He's
for
gotta miss
7 years for him to miss.
Oh yeah.
I'm willing to bet it.
Slamming all the time. Anyway.
Yeah.
Dog water of the week goes to Chris Rock and Will Smith. I'm not sure, the intent behind the whole fiasco that went down, but both of those guys, be better, be smarter. That's a national stage that's being viewed by a ton of people. Obviously, you create a lot of noise, but be better. Chris, be more cognizant of the jokes and the timing of those. And Will Smith, dude, calm down.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, that's a pretty good dog water of the week for sure. I'm sticking with golf here.
Okay.
I'm going Bryson DeChambeau. And Richard Fitzenwell, I know you're listening, and he's gonna enjoy this, I think.
Yep.
It's nothing against the guy. I know he's kind of battling some injuries right now, but it just like the way he presents them just seems like such an excuse, man.
Yeah.
Every single time. And it's like the interviews, he's like, like this is not going on. And it's just like, all right, dude, like sick. Like, it's like my hip hurts, my hand hurts. It's like, yeah, the odds are completely against you. And, he's going to go out and be like, if he had a good round,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, I'm doing pretty well with it. I'm just sick of hearing it.
Yeah.
It's just so repetitive. And anyway, dog water of the week.
He's an interesting case study, that's for sure.
But I love watching him.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
You never know what you're going to get.
Ripping deep stick.
Give it a dog water.
We're going to Ottawa.
Yes, we are.
That's going to conclude episode 28 of season 2. We're going to Ottawa. Thanks for listening in. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. Make sure you like, subscribe, go follow on TikTok, leave a review, leave a 5-star rating on Spotify and iTunes, and we'll be back next week.
Peace.